Welcome to Nerd World. Since his creation, Spider-Man has been one of the most popular heroes in comics, and his popularity has only grown over time. With so many stories and alternate universes, the Spider-Verse has become one of the most fascinating concepts in comics and film. Today, we're going to dive even deeper into this universe and show you the 12 best versions of Spider-Man. Get ready to meet some of the most amazing and unique interpretations of the hero we've ever seen. Number 12, Peter Porker. Peter Porker is an alternate universe version of Peter Parker where literally every superhero we know and love is actually some kind of anthropomorphic animal, in true Looney Tunes cartoon style. Similar to many of the other alternate Spider-Mans, Peter Porker has abilities relatively similar to the Spider-Man most fans are familiar with, including super strength, web slinging, and the ability to stick to walls. His only downside is the fact that he is the size of a pig, which proves problematic when he is facing a normal-sized enemy from a different universe. But the most interesting thing is the origin of Peter Porker. He was a spider and was bitten by a radioactive pig. Number 11, May Parker. In an alternate universe, Peter Parker and Mary Jane Watson end up having the happily ever after they've always dreamed of. They finally had a beautiful daughter, who they named May Parker after Peter's aunt. Shortly after the girl's birth, Peter had a definitive confrontation with the Green Goblin, which ended with the villain's death and Spider-Man losing a leg and retiring from his superhero career. Number 10, Spider-Gwen. Spider-Gwen has certainly become one of the most famous alternate versions of Spider-Man in recent years, even starring alongside Miles Morales in Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse. She hails from a universe where Gwen Stacy was bitten by a spider and Peter Parker ended up dying in her place. She went on to fight crime and protect New York City even after the loss of her friend, as well as all the other Spider-Verse heroes. What puts Gwen on a higher level than Peter Parker is her access to police gear. Her father, Police Captain George Stacy, is still alive in her universe, which means she has direct access to police equipment and information she can use to fight crime on a day-to-day basis. Number 9, Miles Morales. Miles Morales has become the center of attention in recent years, being the main character in Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse, and also starring in a game for PlayStation 4 and 5. Miles comes from the Ultimate Universe, and becomes Spider-Man after death of the Peter Parker of this universe. And while he may seem like just another alternate Spider-Man, his abilities actually surpass Peter Parker's. Firstly, Miles is able to make himself virtually invisible using Spider Cloak. Additionally, he is capable of sending electrical charges to people he touches, and can even run electrical charges through his web to shock enemies from long distances. Lastly, it is believed that Miles is actually immortal, as this proved to be a side effect of the Oz formula from which he gained his powers. Number 8, Spider-Man, India. Pavitra Prabhakar is a young Indian man who lived with his uncles Maya and Bin in Mumbai. Pavitra was constantly attacked by his schoolmates and only had the friendship of Meera Jain. One day, when he was fleeing pursued by his schoolmates, Pavitra meets a yogi elder who grants him the powers of a spider, so that he can face the evil that threatens the world. Number 7, Spider-Punk. Created by Dan Slott and Olivier Coipel in 2015, Spider-Punk may be one of the most visually unique versions of Spider-Man's design. Originally a homeless teenager named Hobart Brown, Spider-Punk gains powers thanks to the toxic waste dumped by President Norman Osborn and uses his skills to motivate the community to fight back against Osborn's militia. He then included the Spider-Geddon storyline and has remained a fan favorite thanks to appearances in animation and in Marvel's recent Spider-Man video game. Number 6, Spider-Man 2099. Created by Peter David and Rick Leonardi in 1992, Miguel O'Hara occupies another unique place in the Spider-Man tapestry as Spider-Man 2099. The futuristic version of the character, who is actually a geneticist named Miguel O'Hara, is able to recreate Spider-Man's powers for himself, but with unintended consequences, as half of his DNA ends up being linked to that of a spider. More recently, Miguel made his cinematic debut in the post-credits scene of Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse. Number 5, Spider-Man 6 Arms. What if? It also featured one of the most aesthetically outlandish versions of Spider-Man, dubbed Spider-Man with 6 Arms. Created by Michael Gallagher and Kevin West, this version of Peter Parker tried to create a potion to get rid of his Spider-Man powers, but accidentally gained 2 extra pairs of arms in the process. After a series of events and fights with various villains, Peter began to realize that the additional arms could be used for good. Number 4, Cosmic Spider-Man. The most powerful Spider-Man in all of the alternate universes is Cosmic Spider-Man, otherwise known as Captain Universe. Using the power of the Enigma Force, a completely incomprehensible mystical energy that has been described as the epitome of the microverse, this Peter Parker has become stronger than virtually any other being that ever existed. The Enigma Force basically increased all of Spider-Man's abilities from 10 to 10,000, while also allowing him to virtually see through space and time, alter matter down to the atom, and survive any temperature imaginable. Cosmic Spider-Man provided safe haven for all alternate spiders during the Spider-Verse event and even managed to defeat foes such as Doctor Doom and Hulk with ease. All in all, there's no doubt that this version of Peter Parker is the most powerful Spider-Man fans have ever seen. Number 3, Spider-Man Noir. Spider-Man Noir is a Peter Parker from the 1930s, with all the quirks of the era. This version of Spider-Man basically works like the Punisher, but with a healthy dose of Sherlock Holmes too. Spider-Noir has a background of training as a fighter, but there's a lot of focus on his detective side. He takes to the streets to investigate crimes, and after solving them, he takes it upon himself to find the criminals. His webs are organic, and give him a huge advantage over the people he tracks. Number 2, Spider-Monkey. On Earth 8101 all Marvel superheroes are primates and, of course, there is a version of our dear Spider-Man. As in the original story, Peter Parker is bitten by a radioactive spider and receives its arachnid powers. The only difference is that he is a monkey. Number 1, Spider-Man Zombie. In Marvel Zombies, Peter Parker tries to save Ash from being devoured by a zombie, but he ends up being bitten and infected with the virus. He returns home where he finds Mary Jane and Aunt May. Peter tries to resist his injuries, but turns into a zombie and eats them both. We've reached the end of our video on the 12 best versions of Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse. We hope you had fun and got to know some of the most fascinating interpretations of the hero. As we've seen, the universe of the Spider-Verse is vast and surprising, allowing creators to explore different versions of Spider-Man and present unique and exciting stories. If you know other versions of Spider-Man that we didn't mention in the video, let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. To the next.